Welcome to another edition of Behind the Book, live from the Skybox atop the MGM Grand Sportsbook here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Gill Alexander from the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Jay Rood, Vice President, Race and Sports, MGM Resorts International. On the show today, pro football, NBA futures talk. Let's get it going with college football, though, here. Brought to you by the PlayMGM app. Back on Behind the Book in a skybox atop the lovely MGM Grand Sportsbook. Gill Alexander from VSiN. Jay Rood, Vice President, Race and Sports, MGM Resorts International. College football, play along with me here.
Yes.
It's a year where Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, there's a handful of teams that look like they are on their way to the playoffs. But Washington is playing Oregon in what has been a down year, a miserable year for the Pac-12. But each of these two teams has one loss. Washington lost to Auburn, first game of the season. Oregon losing a game they had no business losing to Stanford a couple weeks back. The winner of this game, Washington, minus 3.5 at Oregon. If they run the table, they've got a shot at the playoff. They got to get by this one, though. Who you got here?
They got to get by this one, yeah. But I think what we've got going on in this one from this side of the counter is going to be, I think the public is going to be laying Washington 3.5 on the road, which is always a dangerous thing in the Pac-12. I mean, in 25 years of bookmaking, that's one of the cardinal sins almost you always see. You know, I like having the home team plus points in my pocket in the Pac-12. Pretty much, you can say that in a lot of leagues,
yeah.
but there's a few leagues that it doesn't hold as true as it does in the Pac-12. You know, football or basketball, either one, it's a dangerous thing to do. So I think we're going to be rooting for the Ducks unless gentlemen such as yourself get involved and find the value with that 3.5, especially late coming into the game on Saturday. We might get some sharp play with the 3.5 on the Oregon side, but I think generally we're going to be looking at a lot of people betting the Washington side from the Joes. So this could be a pros versus Joes game for sure.
I like when you impart wisdom, nuggets of wisdom, like don't lay points on the road in the Pac-12.
But bet parlays.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. Washington giving up just 13.7 points a game thus far this season. If you are, and I ask you this all the time, Jade, especially when there's a hook involved, I like to ask the question, if you had to guess, based on your 25 years of experience,
right,
which I think you've mentioned on this show once already, do you believe it gets to the 3 here in this particular matchup?
Depends on how heavy. I mean, we're filming here on a Wednesday, and you know, I don't know when the sharp community might get involved in this. If they get involved like on a Thursday or Friday before we get to game day, we could drop down, absolutely, because I can control what they do, and then I think, but the problem is I don't want to give too much away at 3.5, and then get to game day and be at 3 and have the public just laying the 3 left and right.
The later they make their play, the less chance you have to manipulate.
Right, the less I have to move and create that whole getting cited thing, which is always not very good in my business.
Well, for you, anyway. Oregon hosting Washington, 3.5-point home dogs. Big one, I know it's the Pac-12, but just play along. Whoever runs the table, if they can, could have a shot at the playoff. Got to get by this one, though, first. Back on Behind the Book here at MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Sky Box, where people eat, they drink, they bet on sports. It's a beautiful thing. Gill Alexander, Jay Rood, Vice President, Race and Sports, MGM Resorts International. Quite the title, Jay.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is quite the place here. I mean, if I was not having to work, I would hang out here most weekends.
I would as well. Let's talk NFL.
You do?
Well,
just not here.
That's true. I kind of do.
At the Aria.
Indianapolis at the Jets. Jets favored by 2.5. Oh, a barn burner of a game in the AFC. But
it's a must-win, I think.
It might be. Let me not be too flippant about that. The Colts coming off a loss. They're going to have extra rest here, but they faced the Patriots on the Thursday night. Got housed by the Patriots. Andrew Luck, though, filling out a stat sheet pretty nicely, though. He didn't have his full core of skill position players around him, though. Give him that. And then there's the Jets, who just absolutely destroyed the Denver Broncos. Unbelievable performance on the ground. 219 yards on 15 carries from Isaiah Crowell. Sets a franchise record for yards in a game. 14.6 per carry, according to Elias, is a record period for any running back in the NFL with a minimum of 15 carries. 323 yards on the ground when you add in Bilal Powell's 99 and some more. They just absolutely destroyed the Broncos in that game. The Broncos, who we thought had a good defense, guess not. Jets -2.5 here.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to bet this game the classic way they do. They're going to bet what they last just saw. And
Recency.
they're going to bet the Jets in this particular game.
Yeah.
One, because I think there's still some injury questions on the Colts side that I think people, now that fantasy's really on the forefront and a lot of people pay a lot of attention to that, that makes a big difference in how people are reacting at the betting window now. So I think in this particular matchup, we're going to need Luck and the boys to do something pretty miraculous, and have to get the outright win for us to do well in this game.
There's a couple of things going on, right? It's the recency effect. The last thing people saw is the Jets playing well, the Colts not so much.
Right.
And then there's the -2.5, which, the casual bettor says, is that a trap? You trying to get us to take the Jets? There's no such thing as a trap, right?
Not unless it's on the road. 2.5 on the road.
Not unless it's on the road. That might be a trap. There's no such thing as a trap. By the way, great moments in gambling history. It should be noted. So much happens at a sports book like this because people are not only betting full games, they're betting halves, they're betting lots of stuff. The Jets-Broncos game last week, probably the finest moment of NFL Sunday was that a second half total was on the line and the Broncos were driving against the Jets. Overs would cash if the Broncos punched it in. Unders would cash if they didn't. Case Keenum throws a pick into the end zone. Marcus May of the Jets, you would think he would just sit on it, so all the unders are happy that it's not going to happen. He decides to matriculate the ball down the field on the interception return, takes it from 4 yards deep in the end zone. All of a sudden, you see the bettors who have the unders screaming for him to get tackled. Then silence in horror that this is happening. He goes all the way down the 20, the 10, the 5, tackled at the 1, and the sports book erupts.
Yeah.
What a moment.
Oh, and everyone's trying to figure out what's going on that doesn't have action on that game.
Right.
But everybody that had action on that knew exactly the importance of that one little play.
Gambling is fun. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Absolutely.
Jets, -2.5 at home against the Colts. We'll see what happens. It's all brought to you by the PlayMGM app, a full football Sunday of betting. Back on Behind the Book from the skybox atop the MGM Grand Sportsbook, Gill Alexander from VSiN, Jay Rood from MGM. Jay, a special Behind the Book investigation reveals that the National Basketball Association season begins next week.
Yes, October 16th is tip-off.
Yes, indeed. And one of
We
the
got
most
LeBron and the boys here in town this week, though.
Yeah, a little preseason thing happening.
Yeah.
Oh, you love. If I know one thing about you, Jay Rood, you love preseason basketball.
Nothing more important than preseason NBA
He
basketball.
loves that. October 16th, you
Those
mentioned.
games count.
That's the beginning of the season. You are running a spectacular contest. First of all, even
Yes.
before we get to that, a historic moment this summer, the first ever partnership between a professional sports league in America and a gaming company, MGM,
Yes.
with the NBA, MGM, I should say, the official gaming partner of the NBA. Talk to me about the data portion of that first.
Yeah, I mean, the data portion is, going to be relatively new as we move along. We're going to get official data from them for, setting up the games, obviously, where they're going to be, resulting the games. We're going to get player data from them, and that player data is going to become more important as we go into live betting, more in-game betting as we move down the road. That's going to become more robust. That's going to be something that we're going to be able to, create a wagering offer around, and being the official partner with them that hopefully will be exclusive to us. So we might be able to put some things out that could be really, really different from what you see at other places.
And perhaps more tangible to you right now, you are running a contest, as I mentioned.
Yep.
The deadline being October 16th when the season tips off. If you go right now to picks.nba.com, this is a season win total contest, Jay. It's called the NBA Pick'em Team Win Totals contest presented by MGM Resorts. The object, to correctly pick over or under the season win totals of all 30 NBA teams. If you do that, you win
$1 million.
$1 million.
It's not easy.
No.
But, there's been some movement in the line, as we get closer to this season, some of the win totals adjust. So there's a couple little nuggets of value out there that I wouldn't call them a free play one way or the other, but, the game might have moved to 47.5 and it's now, it was at 45.5. So that means the market is being bet over. So, if you do a little research, it might help you a little bit. But it's still pretty long odds. But it's fun. You get action all year.
30 for
All
30,
year.
you get $1 million. As far as the rest of the markets that are offered here at MGM, of course, there are season win totals for all MGM teams, or all not MGM teams, but on your PlayMGM app for all NBA teams. The highest being the Warriors, 64.5, the under-juiced. Don't get crazy, Warriors fans, because, Steve Kerr's going to sort of let some games go by probably in an 82-game schedule. 64.5.
Absolutely. I mean,
sounds right.
They saw, if you make the goal winning more regular season games, what does that get you?
Yeah.
It doesn't get you a ring.
Doesn't.
So it makes a lot of sense to, sort of keep the regulator on and make sure that the team gets into the season fresh, which, I mean, with the team they got, they could play hard every single night and pretty much get there.
Looking at through the lens of the Warriors to win the Pacific Division, for every $1 you put down, or for every $25 you put down, rather, you'd win $1 on the Warriors winning the Pacific Division. They are minus 300 to win the Western Conference, minus 200 to win it all. And if you're a Grizzlies or Hawks fan and you win the NBA title, you win at 400 to 1.
Yeah, there's some big payouts out there, because
Shouldn't
it's
it be
so
higher
top
than
heavy.
that?
So top heavy.
If the Atlanta Hawks win the NBA championship and you bet on the Hawks, shouldn't you get more than 400 to 1, Jay?
I mean, come on. I mean, injuries, things happen. We can't go too crazy here.
Yeah, you can. NBA, can't wait to bet on that, and it's available now again. Picks.nba.com for the contest. Your chance to win $1 million. And it don't stop. Behind the book,
Yes.
on top of the MGM Grand here in a skybox, beautiful skybox on top of the MGM Grand. Gill Alexander from VSiN, host of a numbers game on VSiN. 7 and 9 Pacific.
Which is the most
10 and noon
cerebral show
Eastern.
that I've been told.
You've been on it, for God's sake.
You like to demonstrate your statistical analysis
Thanks, Jay.
with a very deep knowledge.
This is Jay Rood.
Anybody that should have followed him last year, Tankapalooza, was free money.
Yes, except for here where you didn't post money lines on it.
That's right, because I listened to you.
Way to defend yourself. NFL. There's a game in the AFC North this week between the Steelers and the Bengals. Bengals favored by 2.5. Total is at 53. In years past, everyone would be, oh my God, it's all about the Steelers no matter what. This is different this year. The Bengals have only lost one time. That's why they're favored by 2.5. But the Steelers did get off the schneid last week. 2 touchdowns from James Conner, 2 touchdowns from Antonio Brown. They destroyed the Falcons. Sacked Matt Ryan 6 times in that game. They went crazy in that one. Do bettors believe in the Steelers?
Bettors do believe in the Steelers. They've always believed in the Steelers. They're one of the teams that draws action constantly, kind of almost no matter what their performance of recency is.
They're public.
They're very public. But that being said, there is this trend that's emerging that they're not as good on the road, and they are on the road this week.
Yeah.
However, they're going up against a team that almost very rarely gets just blindly bet by the public. Cincinnati Bengals. They're not a team that basically garners a lot of, I'm going to bet the Bengals every week. That doesn't happen. But they have been playing well. Andy Dalton has been doing a great job this season. I think they've benefited from a fairly easy schedule early. Atlanta looks tough, but they're kind of proven to be, they are who they are at this point, and they don't look so hot. So this could be a really interesting game. It's interesting that it's priced about 4.5 points over what the average scoring total is for an NBA game right now. I think it's 48.3 points. Throwing a stat at you, this is high again. This is going to be another one of those games where, I'm going to need it to stay under. Last week I said Pittsburgh game, hopefully we can get it to stay under. No, it lands right on the numbers. So
how do they know?
How do they know? Yes. It's a numbers game.
It's an interesting thing, though, what you say about the Bengals, because, the Steelers, because they've been public and they're one of the NFL's really, foundation teams that people love.
Yep.
Maybe the Cowboys are more of a public team. But in the Bengals, you don't have that at all. And so even when a team like this plays, it's going to play so well through the first part of the season, it's going to take much longer than that for the public to sort of get behind them in earnest. They'd have to go 8-1 or 9-1 before people are like, Cincinnati Bengals, I'm all about
I'm putting them on my parlay every time.
Yeah.
This game, here, you can just kind of bank on, Pittsburgh's going to draw a 3-1 ticket count.
I see.
Probably easily 2-1 in money, maybe 3-1 in money as well.
So you book accordingly.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. With a fight, that's how you price a fight. People go, how do you price a fight? Well, you price it because based on what you expect the handle to be and how you think that's going to play out from a ticket and handle standpoint, to try and get to the point where you're booking fairly even money, and then you work on your little commission on the split.
Jay does two things, boys and girls. He sets odds, and then he books them. Odds maker, bookmaker. What do you like better between those two?
Oh, a bookmaker. I mean, you're managing the liability. That's the more important job.
So multi-dimensional. Jay Rood.
And I'm pretty.
Star. He's pretty. Right here on Behind the Book, brought to you by the PlayMGM app. All right, Behind the Book. This is the marquee matchup of the weekend in the National Football League. It needs no introduction, yet I'll give it one. KC at New England. Oh, this is good. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, or behind Patrick Mahomes, I should say, undefeated 5-0 on the young NFL season. Seemingly, they can do no wrong off a beatdown of the Jaguars. Offense just moving the ball up and down the field. And then there is the New England Patriots. The Patriots, who oftentimes start slow in New England, we saw in September, I should say. We saw a little of that this year, but they've righted the ship, as the kids like to say. I think the kids say that.
Yeah.
New England -4 here, I believe.
Yeah, this is going to be a tricky game, I think, for the betting public to figure out. They're going to want to bet Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs just because look what they're doing.
Yeah.
But how do you go against Brady and Belichick? I mean, ABB, always bet Brady and Belichick. I mean, that's like a 10 commandments somewhere on a stone.
3 Bs, actually.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Well, close enough.
Yeah.
Always be closing.
Yeah.
But, I think in this particular game, if there's anything I've learned in 25 years and in the last 4 weeks,
Oh, my God.
is that you bet against Patrick Mahomes at your own peril. This kid is outstanding. He just figures out a way how to win. Even though their defense is not up to snuff, I think, obviously, the defense that shows up, I think, in this particular spot is going to be the team that wins. And I think Kansas City's defense might feed off of Patrick Mahomes a little bit more and just might get enough of a little boost to be there. That being said, I still think that the Sharps are going to play Patriots at home, under a touchdown, looking like they're getting it figured out. This is going to be a pros versus Joes game, I think, absolutely.
Sunday night in Foxborough. This is going to be your biggest decision of the weekend?
Oh, yes.
Without question.
It could be the biggest game of the year so far.
Joe's on the Chiefs, pros on New England. And by the way, seeing a little -3.5 now, not -4 necessarily. So even better if you like the Patriots right now. I got to go Patriots here. I just think on the big stage, listen, Patrick Mahomes has proven me wrong already a couple times. But give me this one last shot at beating him. This is the one. If the Chiefs win this game, good God, who's going to stop them?
Yeah, and then,
they got to lose sometime.
But people are going to look at what happened to Denver, too, right after the Chiefs just played them and go, well, maybe Denver's not that good. So I think that's where the angle for the Sharps is going to come in, that maybe what they did to Denver, but what they did to Jaguars, too, I mean, Jaguars should have been able to control the points in that game better than they did.
Sadly, the Jaguars don't have a replacement-level quarterback. This time, the Chiefs will face Tom Brady. Big marquee matchup of the weekend. The Patriots, 3.5-point favorites at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. As always, the show Behind the Book brought to you by the PlayMGM app, where you can bet at your leisure. At your leisure. Not
anywhere,
in lines.
anywhere in the state.
Anywhere in the state of Nevada. At your room, on the street. That's the way to bet these days. It's a new day and age.
It is, absolutely. I mean, and it's the outstanding part is that where we've moved into new jurisdictions, Mississippi, unbelievable. Saturday and Sundays are just off the chart.
Yeah.
New Jersey, Borgata, business can't be any better. People love this form of entertainment. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It makes the games so much more engaging, so much more fun to watch.
And you get to win money.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to a movie, it costs you $20, the movie could suck, and you're out $20. You watch a game, you bet $20 on it, you could win. And the game was fun.
That's right. Hopefully the game was fun, but hopefully you win. That's the point. Good luck with all your bets this weekend, both in college and pro football. As always, thanks for watching Behind the Book, brought to you by the PlayMGM app.